Yo, what up? Sup? So we've gotten to this point. You understand? And I've been trying to tell people, like prior to Labor Day, weekend. Um, and I'm making my point. Hear me out. I've been trying to tell people at the gym, places that I've gone to, and people I bumped into. Yo, listen, after Labor Day weekend, man, everybody's coming back from vacation. Throughout the summer, people have, put down their deposit and their first month's rent. And after Labor Day, the people that have put down their deposit and their first month's rent that's living somewhere else and then they're moving to Charlotte, they're going to move in after Labor Day. The people that live in Charlotte that vacationed for the summer, they're coming back. And lo and behold, this was like really the first week after Labor Day, right? Labor Day weekend, the holiday. So everybody's going back to work. Everybody's going back to school. People that, like I said, put down their deposit in their first month's rent in their apartment that they're renting or their house, or people have bought homes, they're actually moving into the city. And within this week, man, I have seen a jump in traffic and people. And now Charlotte, I can finally say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we have reached full capacity. And that's a fact. Give me a second. Go ahead and open this water. A place like Still Creek that once was a gem, a diamond in the rough. You understand? Now, gone. And what I mean by gone, I don't mean by, I'm not saying that, crime is picked up and it's dangerous to live out here in this area. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have a street, right, called Still Creek Road. Still Creek Road going towards Charlotte, right, going towards Uptown, eventually turns into West Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? And then going the opposite way, it turns, it goes into Tega Cay, South Carolina. And I think I forgot the name of the street that it turns into. You understand? But it goes far out into Tega Cay and across 77, and it hits Fort Mill. So this whole strip is called Highway 161, right? I'm showing you how they obliterated Still Creek. And now it's wide open. And where I live at it used to be like a gem. Now it's a dead end because of the traffic, right? So 161, I'm just giving you a small example of how Charlotte is actually operating. So I'm just talking about my side of town. There's other different parts of Charlotte. You have Ballantyne, you have South Park, you have University City, you have West Charlotte, you have, North Charlotte, or I don't know if they would call it North Charlotte, but you have places like, but it's different. I guess you wouldn't call it North Charlotte because Huntersville is Huntersville. I just now figured that out. Huntersville has its own police department. You understand? So you have Huntersville, Morrisville, that's up there in Lake Norman. All of those different parts that I mentioned, they've been busy. They've been cluttered. That's the reason why I left. I used to live in University City, or what they call the University area back in the days. Now it's University City. Those areas have been cluttered. If you're coming from the north, you will want to live in the South Park area, your University City. That's more city. Uptown area like South End, Dilworth. Well, that may be a little bit too more expensive, a little bit expensive because Dilworth is more like an older neighborhood. So most older, elderly retirees live there. Other than that, definitely would want to live in like the uptown area, South Boulevard, South End. That's more like dense. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't in population, and then you don't necessarily need a car in those areas. But here in Still Creek, this was like the last. I'll say it like this. This was the last Mohican. This was the last area that wasn't touched. That's the reason why it was so beautiful back in the days, because nobody knew about it except for a handful of people. And a handful of people, the handful of people that knew about it were the ones that actually lived here. And we, throughout all our years that we were living here, did this. Don't tell nobody. Now, for those that 90s grew up in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? You remember the Smurfs, right? You remember the Smurfs? La 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 la. I couldn't understand it, you know what I'm saying? How all of those Smurfs, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be graphic or nothing, and I know I'm going left field with it, but bear with me, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't understand how in Smurfland it was just one female and her name was Smurfette. Either she was tricking, she was horned, or it was just a lot of... I'm not trying to be funny. It's no disrespect towards the LGBT. It's no disrespect towards the LGBTQ community. But to be real with you, there was just like a whole... Either Smurfette was horned, she was tricking in Smurfland. You know what I'm saying? Or there was just a whole lot of gay ass. It was just like a whole lot of gay Smurfs. Because I just didn't understand that when I watched the cartoon. But it's neither here or there. That's how Still Creek used to be. Like Smurfland. Like you had to go in a tree and underground and make a left where this mole was digging at and take that hole and that rabbit hole and that snake hole to get here. Straight up. But now it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So 161 stretches way out into the highway, right? So you have on Still Creek people, on Still Creek Road, there are communities on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. People are, in the morning time, people are trying to go to work. So you have communities where there's hundreds of houses, but there's only two ways to get out of it. And one of them being Still Creek that everybody that basically takes. I even take Still Creek Road. You understand? So you have people getting on Still Creek Road, right? That's trying to get to Uptown. Or they may be trying to get to South Carolina. You understand? Now, 77 is backed up. I'm trying to explain to you why people are taking Still Creek Road all the way down Uptown. 77 is backed up. That's hands down. You understand? Like when I go to the Dow YMCA, from Still Creek, it's going to take me 30 minutes, hands down, because the traffic is backed up. 485 is backed up. And God forbid if there's a car accident or a car wreck. And nowadays, what they're doing on 485 is they're building express lanes, which is toll. It's going to be toll lanes. Express lanes. So they're trying to ease up the traffic, but they're really not, because they're building two express lanes on 485, like how they're doing up on, that they already have them on Huntersville, right? You have two express lanes and only two regular lanes. So what they're doing is forcing people straight up. I don't even want to talk about the city, DOT and all that. Anyway, they're forcing people to get the North Carolina NC Pass for the express lanes. So normally 485 would be 4 lanes, but now it's split into 2. And that's what they're doing on the other side of 485, coming from like Still Creek and going all the way up past Ballantyne into Concord. So people are trying to avoid that. And that's not going to stop. Because guess what? Once they build the toll lanes and the express lanes and all of that stuff, people are definitely going to take the back road. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Highway 161 is a back road. And that back road is now ridiculous because people are getting off of 77 in South Carolina and they're getting off the Tega K exit and they're coming straight down 161. And then you have South Tryon, right? Which turns into, I forgot which street that is, but what road it is, but it turns into a different road once you get down to Lake Wylie, right? Into South Carolina. So you have people that's coming from South Carolina, because the South Carolinians, I'm just being real with you, there's no jobs in South Carolina. It's dead in South Carolina. The only reason why you would want to live there is because the rent is cheap. You can get some good land and all the rest of that stuff, right? So that's what people are doing. They're moving out in South Carolina, but they're coming into the city in order to work and play and party and stuff like that. So you remember, 77, people getting off of 77, getting off of the TK exit, going down 161. Then you have the people that's coming from the Lake Wylie area, that's coming down, and it turns into South Tryon, that's making that left at that intersection between Still Creek and South Tryon. And then you have on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, you remember what I said, communities, housing communities and apartments on the left and the right-hand side. And all of them are trying to get to Uptown. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about this too. Wow, how did I forget about that? So the Lake Wylie area, right? People, South Carolinians are coming from there, right? But there are also people that live in Gastonia. You can get to Gastonia going that way. So there are other people that's coming from Gastonia because they're like, oh, Highway 85 is backed up. 485 is back. These are three major highways, if you don't know. 485, 77, and 85, right? So 85 is backed up. Nah, we ain't gonna take that. We just gonna take the back way. And the back way is coming from Lake Wylie, going all the way up, that leads into South Tryon and making that left on 161. Because you can't take South Tryon straight down into, South Tryon is another street too, that's long as hell. It extends from South Carolina all the way across into past Concord. I don't even know how far South Tryon goes. It goes straight through Uptown, University City, all of that. And South Tryon changes into North Tryon. It's same strip, same street. Matter of fact, I did a video on it. I started from Lake Wylie and I drove straight down South Tryon and going into Uptown, and then it changed to North Tryon, and I took it straight all the way down. And I forgot, it ends past Concord. This is like a long road. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Peachtree, in Atlanta. It's that long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So everybody's trying to get to Uptown that way. And now it's like you gotta leave 2 hours early in order to get to where you have to go. And the traffic is ridiculous. And I'm talking about just Still Creek, the Still Creek area. And like I said before, this was the last of the Mohicans. This was the last area that wasn't really touched. You know what I'm saying? But now it's touched. And I'm telling you all, I know you all have seen these videos where people say, we're packed, don't move here, right? And they'll talk about how, the Northern's coming down here and they're doing this and they stand in and and the traffic and the da-da-da-da-da. But I'm about to explain to you why you should choose places like South Florida, Orlando, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston over Charlotte, right? And I know what you're gonna say. Well, man, Charlotte is mad cool. It's laid back. It's this, it's that. It's nice. It's a new city. Yeah, it has a lot to offer. But it's one thing, one big mistake that the city made, and I don't think they made a mistake. I think it was intentional, right? They never widened the roads. So the reason why Highway 161 in Still Creek is always backed up, it's not just because of the traffic. You don't have 2 lanes going this way and going the opposite way. It's only a 1-lane street. That's it. So when you look at, I've lived in Atlanta. I go to Miami or South Florida all the time. I might as well live down there too. I've lived in New York. I haven't lived in Dallas and Texas. I haven't lived in Texas. I've been there. But let me just speak. You know what? I got you. let me just speak on things I know. So let's just push away the Texas thing. You understand? And let's just talk about the places that I've lived in, right? So I've lived in New York, right? I've lived in Atlanta, well, Metro Atlanta. You know, I lived in Marietta and Sandy Springs, right? And in South Florida, I'm not saying you might as well have said I lived there, but yo, I go to South Florida I've been so many times. I just went like, what was it, May? I stayed there for a week. So it's nothing to me. It's like a second home to me. So I know how South Florida gets down. Those places have wide, big highways, big streets, 2-3 lane streets, 4, 5, 6 lane highways. Charlotte doesn't have that. That's real talk. Drive down here and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. 77 is back, excuse my language, back the fuck up because they shortened the lanes in the most problem spot areas. So you're coming, hold on, listen to this. It's crazy. Listen to this. So let's say you come, excuse me, you're coming from Morrisville, right? Morrisville, Lake Norman area, right? You're coming down 77. It's toll lanes or express lanes that starts from Huntersville, Lake Norman area and goes all the way down into, excuse me, the Uptown area. The highway 77 is technically 4 lanes, right? But 2 of the lanes are express lanes. Excuse me, I got a small little cold. I have to apologize. So, if you don't have the NC Pass, right? You got to take the regular 2 lanes. There's trucks. This is what people don't tell you about. Charlotte is kind of like a drive-through city, if you understand where I'm coming from. It's, you have to come through Charlotte in order to get through, to these different states. So 85, you got to come through Charlotte to get to Atlanta and these, if you're taking Highway 85. 77, if you want to, get to Georgia and these rural areas in Georgia and South Carolina, you got to take 77 on down. So you have trucks, big 18-wheeler trucks that's coming through. You understand? And they're messing up traffic. And then you have people that are trying to get to work that's entering into Uptown. They're trying to get to work. It's just a big mess. So 2 of those lanes are express lanes, and then the regular ones are 2 lanes. And now it's backed up. So once you get past, it's like that. Once you get past Uptown, then the express lanes, they don't have no express lanes. It's just regular, 77. It trickles down to like 3 or 4 lanes. 3 lanes. Once you get to, what is it? I think it's like around Tyvola. It shortens the 2 lanes. And then once you go past South Carolina, get into South Carolina, right when you see Carowinds, for some odd mysterious reason, South Carolina made sense. The DOT in South Carolina, they widened it. So in South Carolina, they got 4 lanes going down 77. 45 circles around. It's a circle that circles around Charlotte. So if you take that, there's no tolls on that just yet. Like I said, they're still building it. So the reason why I would tell you to move somewhere else, like South Florida, Atlanta, is because the roads are way more wider. They have extra lanes. Here in Charlotte, we don't. And that goes for Raleigh, that goes for Durham, that goes for the whole damn state. Straight up. They haven't widened the roads yet, and if and when they do, and more than sure, I think they will. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I think that Charlotte this is intentional. When they do it, they're going to tax you for it. That's real talk. And the city council has been I need to go to that meeting. I need to find out where the meeting is at. Because I'm gonna start going to these town hall meetings. I'm not lying. I'm gonna start participating in this whole Charlotte thing. Cause this affects me. Yo, black people, we need to be there. We need to be present. But they had a town hall meeting a couple of weeks ago to decide whether we were gonna put toll lanes on 77, starting from uptown, going all the way into South Carolina. So what I'm saying to you is, yeah, you know, they're going to build extra roads and all that. DOT is going to get the job done. But of course, and I'm going to end it with this. Of course, at the end of the day, the cost is going to be on the people. So, yeah, you might be able to get to work a couple years later. You know what I'm saying? If you're leaving at 5:30, and you may be able to get to uptown by 6. But taking heed, it's going to be an express lane, which is going to be a toll. You're going to have to pay for that 30-minute commute instead of that 2-3 hour commute that you would normally take if you didn't take the express lane. So now that you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a 90s dude. I used to look at G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. See, our cartoons taught us things. You know what I'm saying? I used to look at Popeye. This is the reason why, and I know I'm going on a tangent, I'm going left field, but I got your attention. Listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm more than just, you know, talking about Charlotte. But back in the days, you know, I used to look at Popeye. You know, Popeye used to get beat up by Bruto. I'm telling you, man, somewhere in my subconscious mind, I'm not lying. Somewhere in my subconscious mind, I kept that mentality. Listen to this. So Bruto, whatever his name was, he used to eat hamburgers. He used to be a meat eater, right? Right? And he would beat up Popeye and take olive oil, the girl. But as soon as Popeye opened that can of spinach, vegetarian. Opened that can of spinach, his arms grew and he got strong and he beat the hell out of Pluto. And I believe in my subconscious mind, later on down the line, you know, as I got older, it woke me up. It made me become the vegetarian that I am now. And that's real talk. Our cartoons taught us things. Our cartoons now are teaching us things, but they're teaching the kids all wrong. Our cartoons told us if we eat our vegetables, one thing they messed up on, they drink that milk thing. You know, they had that milk campaign with the milk mustache. But other than that, if you eat your vegetables, if you treat people right, Transformers, G.I. Joe, they taught us to treat people right. If you do all of that stuff, man, you can be successful in life. Nowadays, these cartoons are bringing kids down. They teach them all the wrong things. But yeah, man, you know, y'all don't want to listen to me when I talk about that stuff. It's like, man, listen, I ain't come for that. Show the attention span. Y'all motherfuckers got problems, man. Listen, my name is Langston 2019. I want you to like, comment, subscribe, definitely share this video.